today. I was meant to do this program on a Saturday and a Sunday, but did not have the chance. But I just feel that I need to do it so that we can catch up with other things as time goes on. We're going to explore some of the news items that we that was generated, especially by Barrow and his alliance, the NPP Alliance. And the importance of this is trying to point to the evidence of the state of affairs, where we at. And it's not that we don't know, but we have these conversations, and it's healthy to have these conversations. And indeed, solutions do come out of it, not necessarily on the live program itself, but this is how we try to get our minds to work, get our hearts to beat, and in order to find solutions that are really needed. Because there's an urgent need for Gambians to do the right thing. And if I said urgent need for Gambians, I'm not again pointing to the opposition. Yes, they have a big role to play. They are they are an institution in politics, but this is a national interest. This is a task, and it's a responsible for each one of us, especially those who have the privilege to do something about, something as little as possible, to see something positive come out of the situation we are in now. There's nothing too small for advocate to our families or whoever it is, because it will be needed. Because the situation as it has reached, it's a matter of the country being destabilized, and which I'm going to cover. Matter of Gambia losing its sovereignty. This is how serious it is. It's not a scaremongering. I am going to put details out there for people to critically think about this. I think that would make us to be conscious of where we are now. And why did I say that it's critical in a sense that the country might be destabilized? We all know there's a reason in them. Why developing countries is emphasized. There is a change of leadership periodically, and in most cases, people opt for a 2 term of 5, 2 terms of 4. At times, it's had been 2 terms of 7. But something to give hope to people that the change they need, because in developing countries, we would not have a completely free and fair elections. We do have elections which are kind of better, which give opportunity for oppositions to win elections. But we all know that incumbent will do everything to the point of rigging the elections, because free and fair means a lot. But I'm talking about the to the point not only using the power of the incumbency, but no, to the extent of criminal enterprise of going out there to rig elections. They will do that, and to use every force they have to suppress the will of the people in order to maintain power. In this being the case, by either manipulating the systems due to the incumbent power of the incumbency, or getting to the point of becoming, coming up a dictator using every power, once have, in order to stay in by rigging elections and suppressing the people. Let me just give a quick narrative of a history of this, and I'm going to stay within Gambia. I'll try. We all know one of the main reasons attributed to Sada losing, being overthrown, is because if he overstayed. For 30 years he have overstayed. And most of us believe that if, as Senegal was evolving with their politics, changing leadership, if Saudi have kept onto that, probably Hassan Musa Kamara taking over from him after almost 2 to 3 terms. I mean, the 1981 coup was a wake-up call and was the best time to do that. By the 1982 elections, he would not run and make sure Hassan Musa run, or he runs and makes sure he pass on and Hassan Musa complete the term. But what we've witnessed from 1981 was the minute he crossed that with everything, the loyalty Hassan Musa have shown to the PPP, to him, the government, and a good leader he was unceremoniously get rid of from cabinet, completely out of limelight, which forced him to go into opposition. But again, if Hassan Musa, whoever it was within the PPP, I mean, let's say another opportunity we had was when he had the young technocrat of Bibi Dabo. I think if that he had passed on the baton, I don't think we would have had 1994. And to the extent of the Saudi testing the waters, he knew that the PPP was shaken. Just as now, Barrow knew that NPP is shaken. Jawara knew that PPP was shaken. That's why he came out to say, "Oh, I'm going, I'm not going," and those kind of scenario and the politics of it, and we know where it ended. But again, we know that we never expected soldiers to keep their words. But if Jammeh had served, look, I don't even advocate him to serve a day, but let's say he had served the 2 terms and had the courage and to leave, I think he would have in better place in our history than staying long. Because the longer he stayed, the more crime he committed, not only about the corruption, but he would have to use more force, and Gambians came out more determined. Because that's what happened. People will come out more determined to the extent of what happened in 30th December. Shows the determination of Gambians. That they wanted him out. Finally, we did that. This is a proof that it's destabilizing. But again, I promised I was going to stay within Gambia, but it's important to reference Senegal here. We have seen where, Senghor realized that, look, this is the best thing to do. Let me serve a 2 term and bring in a technocrat, groom the technocrat and pass over. And that technocrat came in, Abdou Diouf, and he contested a few times. And after Abdou Diouf, you see, Senghor, and note on this, the constitution of Senegal did not dictate to Senghor to leave power. No, there's no 2 term. There's no term limit. When Senghor decided, there was no term limit. And when Senghor passed on the baton, the Senegalese constitution in fact dictated that the person he is passing on to can complete the term of Senghor. But that was later changed, that if the position became vacant, after 3 months, an election would be held. But Senghor left and Abdou Diouf came, and it was challenging for Abdou Diouf. I can tell you I can't remember the dates, but very tense elections, which in fact, to the extent of the election commissioner was killed, assassinated, and everything else. They forged a unity government with WADA and all not, but Abdou Diouf have to sign up for a 50+1 and a 2-term limit of 7 years, and obviously, that's made it possible for the opposition to win. And again, opposition winning then, what it did was, WADA came in, and unfortunately, WADA broke the progress that Senegal was registering. By when he went on to amend the constitution, came out with technicalities to qualify to run for a 3rd term, and lives were lost. Senegalese came out, lives were lost. Almost 14 people were killed in order for him to qualify. To go through to a 3rd term, and not only for a 3rd term, but again working on to get his coronate his son Karim to take over from him. But because of that, Senegalese came together to avert that history and change the course of history and make sure that he was taken out of power. I mean, he lost the elections. But unfortunately, again, the person who took over from him, Macky Sall, who came at the back of that struggle and was given the opportunity to lead Senegal, went on and did the same thing and went on a constitutional amendment and changed the terms in order to justify another technicality. But again, Senegalese people, especially Pastef and the youths, came out and stopped him for the third term, but it had to cost. And it cost, God knows, over 40 or 48, or so on, and over 2,000 people arrested. Some people, other people, lost their limbs, and people get exiled, and every form of torturing and everything. But finally, Pastef prevailed, Senegal prevailed, and got him out. But now, you see, because he was the worst, you see his life in exile, just like a dictator. You see, we can learn from this history. It's not about whether it's in our constitution or not. No, it's about a democratic process. It's about the standard principles, about progress, and it's about love of country. And especially the history we have in the Gambia, the way we came out with this government, every agreement we had, and the main, demands of the people was, the constitutional review have proven that. Opinion polls, you call them, or that have proven that people really aspire for two-term rule. They don't want it. And Barrow have made these promises himself many times. But what happened? Again, this is where I say I am vindicated, in a sense that a few weeks ago I said Barrow have got to a level, and I have been following up this narrative to saying that Barrow want to leave, but he have a problem. Succession is not easy. To hand over power is not an easy deal, because there are a lot of challenges. People will be around you that benefit from you being in power. They will not want you to go. There will be other people who wants the power from within, who will be fighting each other, and they will do anything, manipulate the situation, for that if they cannot have it, nobody else will have it. They rather have you there so that they can still benefit from what they can do. And we know that this happened to Sadauda. This happened to Sadauda, to the extent of it was the bickering, the infighting of the PPP, in fact, that led to the soldiers to take over this. But again, the fear. Finally, what happens is the fear of leaving power. Just as Barrow is witnessing with Macky Sall, that look, his freedom would not be guaranteed. And it's because of the corruption. It's not, Barrow have not committed the human rights abuses yet that would warrant that he'll be scared that he'll be prosecuted based on those abuses. No. The main abuses, now is corruption, which he is scared that he's going to lose the wealth which he dearly loved. And he might lose his freedom, if they cannot recover this wealth. But again, I believe that if he had the courage, I'm not saying that he will not be prosecuted, but I think he will still go with a little bit of dignity, and he will still have, something left with him that would leave him live a dignified life, better than he was before assuming office. This would be better for him than staying on until he's put out of office one way or the other, because it's inevitable. He can't stay there forever. He will leave office one way or the other, and most likely very soon. Now, this is the situation he finds himself. And as I said, that when they find themselves in this situation, what they do now is to try to think in something which were possible before, but now technically impossible to start, is to stay on power and ensure that someone they trust can take over from them, and the only person they will be able to trust would be their own child that would take over from them, or or so on. Because of the people that tried it in Mauritania, when the president appointed the defense minister who he trusted and everything, the minute he got into power, within a week he was arrested, put aside and charged for corruption, and still now in prison. When in Angola, the president took his trusted interior minister, defense minister, and make sure he hand over to him with all the protection, to say that you are not going to change. They agreed that he was not going to change the service chiefs, he was not going to change a lot of other aspects of the institutions in order to guarantee freedoms. What he did is, a week into power, he dismantled, he sacked all those people who were to protect the former president, and he did not go for the president, but even the worst is to go for the daughter and son of the president, and to retrieve all that loot. And this is a history now. They realize that they cannot trust, and this is what Barrow is battling with. Now, for him is to think things that used to be possible. Something we see in Cameroon right now, something we have seen in other French-speaking African countries, and so on, that he can stay as long as possible. And we know why do they believe in this thing, or why would he believe in this thing? Is the people around him will tell him it's possible. But not only that, the marabouts will lie to him until say it's possible, and he will be giving out all form of sacrifices to make sure this is possible. We all see the last time the hippopotamus, now we saw the camel with the marabout standing there in plain sight, writing such of a nonsense. To guarantee him that he will stay forever. That's why after that he came out and declared that he will stay for that long. But we see where this thing's going to last. Now, we are faced with this situation. Why is he adamant that he needs to run? Especially with his poor records, with his poor record of governance. Where is the progress? There's no single institution that he have progressed. There's no single institution that he needed to be reformed, to move on. Look at the security sector. He still have occupying forces. We now call them occupying forces because Mission Crypt is onto them now, which is now posting a national security challenge for that matter. Because if you imagine, I don't know whether Gambians don't realize this, when you go to Fajara barracks, you have the economic soldiers on guard, and their weapons are pointing where? Where do you think their weapons will be pointing? At the Gambian barracks. Why do you think they are in all the strategic positions? You think that they're expecting insurgents to come from outside and invade? No. They are expecting uprising from the forces, which, if it continue, will be inevitable, either the people or the forces. This is the fact of history. You can have the biggest army, you can have the presence of the biggest army, but it does not insulate you. The only thing that insulates you is good governance. And the good governance now is about leave power, make sure elections are held free and fair, and you reduce the damage. I can tell you, I'm not saying that he will take everything that he have looted, but he will be better positioned. But now, this is the only reason he have got all this wealth with his wife and people around him. Some of the people around him don't want him to leave. Most of the people around him don't want him to leave, as I said, either knowing that if Barrow leaves, they will never be around any other leader, because they don't have what it takes to be where they are today. Others want it for themselves. If I cannot have it, nobody else will have it. I'd rather have Barrow here because of what I can have influence, or I can have influence on Barrow. But if I am not the president, or if I don't determine who's the president, then I cannot have that influence. This is the only reason. Now, we look at the madness of Dr. Sisi. If just imagine if this person can come on TV and behave this way, how does he behave off camera to Barrow? Disregard everything he said in that interview yesterday. For him, that was a PR. For him, that he has pinned the situation. And Gambians are easily, at times, forgiven. For better words, I'll use the word forgiven. And he thinks he's won. No. For someone, I mean, look, I mean, for people who ever trusted him, I mean, I'm sorry for them. But for myself, I mean, when people came around and asked, I told them, the guy's not ready. Does he have a track record? Go and find out his track record. You just don't say people can be president because they have a doctorate. It takes far more than that. And today, all those people I advised said to me, you'd vindicate it. Imagine the guy's position right now. He have forgotten everything. We are with Barrow, whatever Barrow wants. Now, for him, he's thinking that he can stay in government as long as possible and possibly even succeed, be the successor to Barrow. This is his thinking. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about Gambians or anything. He cares about himself. For him saying that, oh, Padim is nothing, he knows this line. Go and find, when he declared his assets, he's got $20,000 in his account. Go and find out now how much he's got his account. And the privileges now he have and everything. Oh, government is nothing. But he did everything. He betrayed people that trusted him. He did everything. But, you know, when people say, oh, I mean, lafa jaay ngoram. No. God du jaay ngoram. Amuko. It's just been exposed. It's just been exposed. Now, people like him, you think if he says what do you think Dus Hanos and others, say Humbalos and others will say? And look at it. People like Humbalo, who did not even, when Gambians came together to build a coalition, he even went tribally to support Mama Kande because of tribe and turned around. Yes, he turned around to say that Barrow was a slave in the fuller context. But he's the one now that Barrow have improved his life. Go and look at him now, and when he was in compared to when he was in Europe. The guy could not even have a proper, a balanced diet, living in the diaspora now. Just go and look at the difference. These are the people. What do you think this guy would say? The Dus Hanos? Calling her advisor. What do you think, Modus Habelis would say? They're already trying to mobilize to say that they're going to march for Barrow and all those stuff. They will do that. That's how they raise resources. That's how they can have money to do what they want to do. But if Barrow thinks, but he doesn't believe them, I can tell you, he doesn't believe them that they like him or whatever it is. He knows the game. But he's just thinking that it might be successful. That depends on you. Gambians would allow it to be successful, to continue to plunder our country. But this is where the risk comes in. Now, the minute Barrow stays on, Barrow became illegitimate. And if I say illegitimate, people might quote the Constitution. This is not about the legitimacy of the constitutions. I can tell you one thing. When coup d'etats are justified, it's not justified on law. It's on morality. There's no constitution that guarantees you that you can overthrow. That's why the minute you overthrow, what do? You overthrow the constitution. What do you say? What do you say? Why do you think soldiers come out? Because they believe that they will have the support. Nobody would stage a coup knowing that they cannot consolidate, they cannot have support. That's why coup d'etat fails. When coup d'etat succeeds, it's because people will come out and jubilate. That's what Barrow is creating. And if anybody run to Barrow, I know they will run to Barrow to say, oh, Ben is suggesting a coup d'etat. Let it be. But I am not. I am an anti. I hate it. I don't allow any individual or individuals to hijack my constitution. No. I don't authorize anybody I won't support anybody doing it. But in the case of Barrow, I'm not going to condemn it. Or anybody that said over 2 times, I'm not going to condemn the coup d'etat on you. What I'm going to do to hold them accountable to release power to the people. That's where my effort would be. Why would I? When you deliberately bring it onto yourself, bring it onto us, undermine our constitution, the spirit of our constitution, undermine our democracy for your greed. Why should we? This is what it creates. We all seen what's happened in other countries. When it happened in Mali, the president just got his term renewed. Less than 3 months. People came out. What next? When it happened in Burkina, I mean, it was insecurity. They say, oh, it's insecurity. We're coming to get you out. Because of their lost legitimacy. This is what Barrow have to understand. He will lose legitimacy. And I will tell you here, I'm not going to tell you how it's going to be done, but soldiers know how these things are done. Having economic doesn't mean that it's not possible. It's just that having economic takes more of a thinking and more of a risk, calculated risk, but doesn't mean that it's not possible. Let's just put it that way. But we are not advocating for that. But it's for us, Gambians. And if I say Gambians, I'm not looking at a political party. I'm not looking onto the civil society alone. It's individual, in fact, it's our responsibility to avert this. We can use that soft power. And if Barrow want to resist, that soft power would legitimize his, would turn to a strong power and legitimize his living power. Departing. But it takes leadership to achieve that. Saying that individually, we might think that way, we might aspire to do something, but we are not calling for people just to be headless and run around. We have responsibilities as leaders, the political parties, civil society, and others to organize ourselves and develop that soft power and demand for our democracy not to be undermined. Make sure the institutions, be the police, be the IEC, and everything that it takes to have the stability, to make sure that accountability to go through elections to guarantee our democracy is fit for purpose without Barrow running as a president. Just think about it. Why do you think NPP and the entire alliance just think, oh, Barrow should run? You think they respect Barrow for his knowledge, for his honesty, for anything? No. No, because of he's vested with the executive power now. But the minute he lost that executive power, we all see what happened to Macky Sall right now. Even his griots are going against him already. His griots. And wait till after the parliamentary election and see it will be worse. Until the laws are changed. And when he's indicted. You just understand the power was them, not them. It's us. It's the state. That's the bit of destabilization I want to touch on, as I said, brief. But let me touch on something else. Our economy. Sovereignty. Sovereignty is about people and economy. The sovereign and the economy. Where an economic collapse, you see what happened in Haiti? You see what happened in other countries? You see what was happening in Lebanon before this war? They nearly. The state, in fact, had to change hands. But in this case, it's worse. Because Geostrategically, where we are located, we are surrounded by Senegal. We are surrounded by Senegal. Now, this is not anti-Senegalese. Senegalese are doing the right for themselves. And if we do the right for ourselves, we can have a mutual partnership that our region will progress. Progress for Senegal should mean progress for Gambia. But Senegal are not going to take the responsibility to carry us. We have to take the responsibility to be at par or to be at a level that they can collaborate and move. Let me explain what is happening here. If you look at the new government of Senegal, what we had under Macky Sall, Senegal emerged, it was never, it's just a neo-colonist development concept that you will never develop. We continue to be a consumer, your resources will, be taken out, and it's continue to be a corrupt state, and most of part of the economy will be shared by 1%. What Pastif are advocating, what they plan, and what they declare to do if they follow it through. I'm saying if they follow it through. It means a sovereign economy. A sovereign economy that can transform the life of Senegalese, not the 1% of Senegalese. But in doing so, they had a plan. And that plan is to use their resources, the mineral resources. The plan is obviously to build an educated workforce. The plan is to cut the waste, stop the corruption, and utilize these resources by putting value in the country, creating jobs, and obviously build the institutions that guarantee a state to continue to flourish. It's simple, that's what they're doing. But think about that. They talk about regional industries. And you know that if they say regional industries, the regions are all over us. The regions of Casamas, the region of the Salum, the region of the Casamas, the north or the south of Casamas is entirely surrounding us. And when you have a country prosper, creating jobs, producing, you, the Gambians, will be the consumers. And if you have your local currency to consume, and some of your work, some of your most intelligent people or hardworking people start to move away to the industry, to work in those industries, what happens? You lose your sovereignty because you lose your currency. Already we are suffering that balance of that deficit in trade with Senegal. The CFA is just going up and up. 2 years ago, the milk flour was about 400 and something. Now it's almost getting to 600. This is how you lose your country as sovereignty. What do we have in place? Do Gambians realize that our national assets we had are gone? And why do I say they're gone? They are mortgage. And you know what happens in mortgage at times? You can lose the asset because the reckless mortgaging with them. Let's for instance NAWEC. We all know NAWEC is collapsed. We all know that. They have technically zero capacity of generating power because what they can generate cannot do nothing independently. They had to rely. Now they're relying on car power, they rely on Senelec. The last time I've checked, they owned Senelec $15 million for 3 months. They owe car power $10 million. That's $25 million. You ask yourself, how did that happen? Because of the mighty corruption that Barrow this is. Now they're telling you that, oh, we're going to Guinea-Conakry to get some more. You think they're going to have it cheaper or they're going to have it free? I'm not going into detail because we're still looking at that. We know that they're technically trying to reduce what they're taking from Senegal to 5 megawatts. From 50 megawatts to 5 megawatts, and try to get the other megawatts. And we know they're trying to enhance, to put capacity at the Sukuta solar plant. And they're saying that once they get that capacity, they're gonna sell Sham to Bissau. It's just crazy, as if they are not engineers or accountants or people with brains. It's just rubbish. It's not going to fix. Just as everything they have ever declared became a lie, it's going to be a lie because the corruption will not let them. Right now, there's something we're investigating from the financial director, who is bringing in since he's been appointed 6 months ago. Since then, he started to bring in his colleagues from the banking sector to be procurement managers, to be treasurers and others, building a structure that obviously they will do what they want. And the deputy managing director is retiring in February, I think. They're already trying to get someone else back to be the deputy, and that person they're planning to get back to be a deputy MD is linked to the MD and is linked to the financial director. And you think if you don't cope corruption, you can bring resources as much as possible, but it's not going to move. NAWEC is not the lack of resources, it's the management. But again, you will understand why. Because if Nani Juara have failed miserable, with all the chances given to him, with all the investment given to him, and he promoted the minister, tells you a lot that he have been doing what the president wants. If we understand NAWEC, the importance of NAWEC, how can we transform any industry? How can we have any industry or transform anything? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. It's not going to work. Already the businesses in the Gambia are suffering. Had a meeting with 3 business people the last time. They are keeping their employees because they don't have the heart to lay them off. They don't have the heart to lay them off. But they are struggling. Their generators are technically now dysfunctional because it's been overused. The cost of the petrol and everything. The taxes are killing them. And the money is not circulating as we think. Things are very expensive. Many people, don't look at the few on social media doing their thing. Many people are prioritizing just to survive, struggling to survive. Then imagine if you sell something that would not be part of their priority and they are the majority, where is your business? This is the situation we're facing. Imagine the bridge, SeneGambia bridge. When they came out at the beginning, they lied to us. Oh, we are going to get 100 million. That's why we are going to give it away for 100 million. We are going to do this. It's all a lie. When the details came out, what came out? 15 million was given to them. Or they were almost making $1 million a month. They were almost making $1 million a month. With efficiency, they could have made far more. Why? What do you think these people would do? Does the government want to say that there are no capable Gambians to look at things and make it better? No, because they will not take those Gambians that can make it better. They will not take those Gambians. And I'll give you an example. They give it 15%. They got 15 million. And these people, what stupidity is this? 400 million that you have not received yet. With clause. And just found out one of the clause is the stopping the Gambia not to build a bridge over the river Gambia that would affect revenue whilst the contract goes, which is about 15 years. Now, why would you do that? Part of people who are strategically thinking, part of one thing we can do to be in a position that Senegal will not completely take over all the markets around us. Remember, the markets we depend on, it's not the markets within the Gambia, it's outside the Gambia. When the PPP government came, from agriculture, they developed the transit trade very effectively. When they were negotiating, the founding fathers were negotiating for independence, because even the British wanted, they were never thought we would be viable. They wanted us to be given away to Senegal. They encouraged some, and the founding fathers, some of them resisted. I said no. They agreed to under the auspices of the UN, to go with an open mind, to assess, to see if what's better, to declare our independence or to have a federation. Before agreeing to that negotiation, conditions were put to the British that if we will be going to this conference with an open mind, but if we even have to reach to having a federation or whatever relation with Senegal, we want to maintain our identity for the foreseeable future. And what guaranteed that identity was to be supported to run an airport, to run a seaport, that with the jetties along the river Gambia, to bring this produce to the capital, urban area, and to re-export to beyond the borders of the Gambia. Then re-export trade was always part of our strategy. And the concept of the PPP was to create this free zone. And this is why, if it was not interrupted, we would have had a free zone before any West African country had a free zone. Already, the demarcation for a free zone at the Banjul port, a free zone at the airport, so that industries will come in, jobs will be created. I mean, the infrastructure was already been built. Gambia was part of that infrastructure. I mean, curriculums were looked at, things were being looked at. That's how you do it. But this was important. Now, that's why people think that if what Senegal is already, and Sonko have announced that part of the project in Casamance, and Ziguinchor would be a seaport, which they have already given out the contract to be built. A seaport. And there already is a dry port or a sea, sort of a port at Funyun, at the Salo. All they're doing is to try to get this and make sure they take over the markets over to Mali and onwards. The only way we could have beat them would be to create a port that would have connect the Foni and the Balibos, and it would be easier to get to Kaur and get to Mali before them. But now you allow yourself, because of your greed, and that $15 million, I can tell you, that's where it will be somewhere in the consolidated fund. And next minute you will know where it is. It will be used to pay per diems or expense for the president. They have not earmarked it to be put into anything else. This is their priority. We all know, we look at agriculture. He doesn't care. You will not take a buffoon like the I forgot the Demba whatever it is to be in charge of your agriculture. We are worse off before than 2016. Where are we going with this? It's all about what the presidents get. How, and people around him. Nothing. Gamtel is already gone. The fiber optic, which was already built, the infrastructure from the PPP that runs south and north, that could connect every household on internet, that could connect every household on cable TV. I don't want to say much, but there are all indications. We have seen Senegalese companies, and we are receiving reports. I am not saying it's a fact, but receiving reports that that Senegalese company is contracted by Mohamed Dia, and we all know the relationship between Mohamed Dia and Barrow. You think Mohamed Dia will build a multi-million-dollar property for Barrow for free, a businessman? No. And we lost Gamtel. And infrastructure like Gamtel will be going into, private hands. But because of what Barrow gets from it. Gamtel, we don't talk about it. Kaput. And he doesn't care. Because it doesn't affect him directly for him. He had lack conscience. He doesn't care the suffering of our people in our hospitals, drop out in schools, because his children and family are not affected. The entire Barrow family have become multimillionaires. Be it Amadou, be Njaga, be it the elder the brother, forgot the name, be the sister, be people married to the sisters and everything else. Half of Gum Petroleum now is the siblings. One of them is a minister, the other is the deputy for the ports. Let's go to the ports. The entire revenue stream of the ports is going to be managed by Turkish. And obviously, the contract, again, is a one-sided contract. They don't care. Sidi Njai have properties given to him in Turkey. The First Lady have properties given to them in Turkey. They cannot deny that. And the kickbacks given to them. You think Sidi Njai built these houses because of the padems or whatever? It's a lie. You think the lifestyle is supported by padems? CD was already looking at properties in the UK. For what reason he moved, I'm not sure whether he moved away from it, but people he contracted, he did not get back to them, but those people had that he's doing it in America. That's what they're doing now. Because of the kickbacks they get from giving access to the state. The ports. How can you give away your port to be run by a company like that? Go and look at the track record of that company. One of the reasons the coup d'etat in Guinea-Conakry. Look at what they did to Somalia. Somalia, they had to even force to renegotiate the contract. 80% is going to the Turkish. How much you think Gambians cannot run that, cannot do that, cannot transfer the ports? No, because he's not going to look at the right Gambians, because what is in for Barrow is what he gets from it. Common sense. The ports is generating a lot of money. And if you close all those loopholes, stop the corruption, bring in efficiency, how much does it take to upgrade, to make sure revenue this is? That's what the Turkish are going to do. But the most important, the most serious thing is the Turkish are going to be responsible for accounting. They can claim anything to be expense. They can claim anything to be operational. And part of these contracts, knowing this government, there will be always a clause that if the revenue is not being met, desired revenue is not being met, the contract can be extended. Remember the security port. The security port. You remember when it was delayed, Gambia government had to pay how many millions or to extend the contract. These are the sort of contracts they will sign in. And these people promise you a port in 6 years. You think if Zigansor port is ready before us, you think that Sanyang port will be viable? You think the Zigansor port ready before us, you think our Sanyang port will be viable? The Turkish are going to make sure they get their money. Not really money they put in there, because you give them a revenue stream, an entire revenue stream of your port, with promises that they will build for 6 years, and there will be a clause there to determine, in fact, when they're going to do that. They determine who is going to be where. But I can promise you, Barrow's nephew would be retained, part of the management. I can promise you that. So that he will get his kickback from, continue to get his kickback from there. That's the only thing why Barrow is staying. For what? Why? Already you have a port. The company is going back to Turkey, the Exim Bank of Turkey, and ask them for money. And they are going to use our port as collateral. Why can't we use our port as collateral, run it efficiently, and expand our port and build another port? Why can't we do it ourselves? Or have a better deal? He doesn't care. It's too much thinking. Let's quicker and get the money. We can go on. Tell me, what do we own now? Tell me, what asset do we own in the country? It's all be going. Gantel is gone. Now it will be going. They're already thinking of taking the water away from electric. And the water taking it out, I'm telling you this, they have already planned a company to take it up, and I can tell you there's a big kickback for Barrow. The wife of this MD is likely to head that company, the water company they're going to bring in. Because there will be big kickback for him. Then the electric will be, this infrastructure of the electric will go for nothing. But Barrow will have a kickback. They will be selling everything, strip everything. They don't care. So fast that they can divide us, they can and to determine, that's what they think. But we should prove them wrong. Imagine, for so long now, the sand mining, we have people celebrating that criminal, Ababakar Jawara, as a philanthropist. A criminal giving our resources to mine is only in Gambia. And say we cannot account for what comes out of the soil, how much comes out, and where the money goes. Now that criminal is given another opportunity because of because what Senegal claimed, that because of the need they will have, need for the stones, basal, or you call it, they are going to stop exportation. Guess what? An opportunity created for Ababakar Jawara. Now he's given a forest. You know why Barrow put the needs at the forest, at the environment? Environment Ministry is lucrative because of the climate change grants that come in. Secondly, so that they can deforest and authorize any kind of development they want. That's a lot of money they get from kickbacks. Now the Salalaji forest, once they start the Salalaji forest, the rest of it will go under Barrow until we take him out. Now, instead of a situation arising, the government come up with a strategy to say that this is how we're going to do it. No, they are going to create a monopoly for Ababakar. Give him land, give him this thing, and he'll go and pile it there and sell it however he likes. Barrow doesn't care because Barrow gets money from it. Another Gambian to do it will be technically difficult because he's already got a monopoly. Look at what they did to the cement traders. Right now the monopoly is on. Look at how it's hitting us. There's shortage of cement because of a conveyor belt. It's not working. How can you give a monopoly to so-called manufacturers? They're lying, they don't manufacture. They are a rebagging company. They import cement and they are importing inferior cement. The same Amadija has been caught bagging cement almost 10 kilos less, selling it for the commercial price. And nothing comes out of it because of the monopoly, because of what Barrow gets there. Yes, he's a shareholder of Amadija. That's what he does. He doesn't care. And our people would need to understand to care. All those lies that they will come out with, all the spin, I'll do development, I'll do what? The easiest thing they cannot pull off, the OIC. People don't even know how much million they have spent so far and nothing, not even a drainage system. What constitutes a drainage system? Not only a gutter. What constitutes a drainage system is to collect, transport, and deposit. It collects, and guess what? Drop it down in the neighboring streets. That's why all over that coastal road area is all bloody flooded as they've never been flooded. How can you build, spend over 75 million the last time they counted, or they said, because the minister himself cannot tell us. That last time he came, a debate with Dr. Lamin Mane of UDP at West Coast Radio. Something that was budgeted for almost $1 million for a kilometer, which was standard. Now it's gone over. They don't even know. There's nothing done properly. They cannot even put signage properly. But what else? The so-called VIP lounge at the airport, go and find out how it is already. You think we're going to make money from spending how many millions in a VIP lounge? Who are the VIP going through there? What money is going to get us? That conference center already, they're using children, school children are going there to do their passing out. Because it's not sustainable. We will end up draining, it will end up not being unkept, and it's just going to be another stadium. This is the sort of government we have. It's not that Gambians are not capable of doing it. That's why we always say that if we are not involved, we have the likes of Barrow to determine our future. And that's not our future to lose us our sovereignty or to destabilize us. That's what he can. He cannot, because he will never get competent people around him. Now, not only our black sand and everything now is to create an industry for Ababakar Jawara, a criminal like that. And this, people celebrate him to be a philanthropist. Let's put this out. Let's put this out. Now, to give you an example of this, I said Gambians are capable. I've published, Open Gambia published almost $1 billion, 900 million. That is the initial capital of Social Security Housing Finance Corporation likely to vanish scholars. And I give a context on this. This was the deal, because I said I got the paperwork. I released in evidence when this was the deal that Adam Barrow get into. And because of we intervened, in fact, it stopped at 900 million. It stopped at 900 million for 70 buses. It was going, they were looking at doubling it. And Barrow made 2.5 million bribe from TK Motors, TK Export. I made that allegations, and they said they're going to take me to this thing, but he backed off because someone went out there and leaked it to him that be careful. That's why they backed off. And I am saying it here. If Barrow want to sue me and knowing that it's just for defamation, I'll take a holiday and go and face it. Just defamation, I'll go and face it. He dare not. The only, when I published this, I provided the evidence now of the presidential directive, a directive to Social Security Housing Finance Corporation. The president doesn't have that power. That money is not government's. It's the people's money, pensioners' money. Government should be protected, but the exact thing SeneGambia does. The GTSC, the bus company, did not request. The bus company knew they did not have the capacity to take extra buses. Just a year before, or months before, they already received what they have estimated. They look at the market, they look at the company, they look at everything, evaluate it, and say, no, 20 buses they can do. And they got those 20 buses, they Social Security paid for it, and they paid that back. The business worked. Guess what? A different deal, which I'm not going to touch now, was given to Mohamed Jah for buses. Those buses did not run for a year. And that one is the worst of contracts given out. Again, for political expediency, or so that we can provide buses on this. But no, it's not only for that. It's for the $2.5 million Barrow took from kickbacks. Barrow took from kickbacks. And a day in court, Barrow will be surprised evidence we have. A day in court, all those people that took part, the evidence, not only the paper trail, but we have other evidence we are not going to mention. 2.5 million. That's why Barrow was so angry he wanted to sue, but because he was shocked, how did we get the number right? But he was advised, be careful. Now, it's more than 900 million, because 900 million taken from Social Security for almost 2 years. If that 900 million was invested in treasury bills or other areas Social Security invests, look at the returns, probably 20% returns. Treasury bills, probably 17%, 12% in fact. What's the return of 12% of 900 million? Return of this thing. And we stopped it. Imagine if we did not agitate this. They went on taking money. I mean, in fact, they caused a problem in the economy because they needed this money. They went on to get this the money cash so that Barrow can get his kickback. 900 million. For 2 years, Social Security did not get a penny back. And if it's likely nothing will come out because of GTSC cannot service it. GTSC have negotiated to even reduce how much they should pay, but still they were not able to make it. Because you see, I said it before, commerce, these public transport businesses, they don't do profit in most cases. The profit is the environment they create for the economy. That's why in the UK and other countries, what they do is they subsidize them. In the UK here, bus companies are subsidized by the councils. They are subsidized by the council. Because most of the routes they will run, they might not make money. Only few routes that might make a little bit of money, but the shock from petrol prices, shock from maintenance, spare parts, and overheads takes it off. Now, why did I say that Barrow doesn't want progress? Remember, he brought in Mamour Ndiaye for a reason. Today, if someone becomes a president in the Gambia, and decided to go and get Sanamanyang, what do you expect? Or go and get Martin, what do you expect? What do they want? It's the same thing. Bringing Mambo and Jive to finance is a jungle. And you want him to do what he did for Jam. But again, bringing Jabate to the ports, Jabate to the ports, the same Jabate that went to Janneh Commission and admit delivering cash to Jam. Leaving Yankuba Dabo GRA is for the same reason. Just ask what he did for Jam and himself and people around him. He's very equitable when it comes to corruption around him. That's why he did it. Now, imagine this. The courtesy, this is figures shared by Kotosi Desane. Part of the reason is not the only reason. Part of the reason Mohamed Manjang was taken out and be posted at a diplomatic mission, and he resigned. Look at this transformation. This transformation. What Mohamed Manjang did with Social Security. MD Manjang records as Social Security. MD Manjang 2016 to 2019 records of Social Security cost and went down from 271 million to 148 million. The operational cost for Social Security was reduced. This is the ticket for Mecca, ticket for Rome, naming ceremonies, Gamo, and all those nonsense and other invoices that they would just make in order to dip in the coffers. You see, when they were saying that Yaya Jammeh was taken, yes, Yaya Jammeh was taken, but they too were taken. And they were taken through this operational cost. Operational cost was reduced from 265.5 million, operational cost was reduced down from 271 million to 148 million. That was just a beginning. Income grew. Income grew. They reduced cost. Income grew, which makes sense. Income grew from 265 million to 309.5 million. Income grew to 309 million. Operational profits from a loss of 1.5 million to a profit of 138 million. Before he took over in 2017, before he took over 2017, they were making a record loss of 1.5 million. He went to profit, he rose to profit of 138 million, almost 136 million profit. Let's move on. That's not only it. Social Security highly liquid terms, deposit and treasury bills grew from 700 million to 2.1 billion. He within the 2 years, he grew the liquidity of the company from with treasury bills from 700 million to 2.1 billion of new investment, including the bosses for GTSC. Now, how can you remove that person? If that person is removed as a managing director, I think the only place that you could put that person would have been your finance minister, because he has proven beyond reasonable doubt. But if you know his background, his track record, from NIB to Standard Bank to being the chief financial officer for Africa and Middle East, running billions of dollars, it's not a surprise. How can you have caliber like this are many? If a serious government in place can get Gambians to run ports, run everything that we want, and they will all prosper. Just as Senegal is doing now. Just as Senegal is doing now. that said, Barrow is the problem. He doesn't work. It's not that Gambians are not capable. But look at this madness. You know, recently, they came out with this. Just a minute. From the Fatu Network, they said the National Assembly hosted a formal ceremony today to grant procurement autonomy to 9 public institutions, allowing them to conduct their own procurement activity without prior approval from the Gambia Procurement Authority. This headline is kind of a misleading, because I scratched my head. I said, no, the MPs are not that mad to do this. The MPs did not do it. What happened is a ceremony was held at the parliament. It was not a parliamentary approval, as it might read if you not read it carefully, because all the people I knew thought parliament approved. No, they held a ceremony. They allowed the procurement authority to hold a ceremony at the National Assembly building, a formal ceremony, to grant autonomy to 9 public institutions, allowing them to conduct their own procurement activity without priority approval from the Gambia Procurement Authority. Now, what's the point of the Gambia Procurement Authority then? With the record of, with the evidence we have seen from the National Audit Office of the abuse of of the procurement systems. Now you are exempting institutions from that. It's just legalizing corruption now. Legalizing corruption. Check the institutions involved. The institution benefiting from this significant delegations of authority, including Minister of Interior. Imagine the budget of Interior now. You see, do you know, if you want to understand Barrow, go and understand Macky Sall. It's the same thing Macky Sall did. They created this situation that to say that because of operational whatever it is, efficiency, and for secrecy, government state secrets, some of these authorities will be given autonomy to procurement. You know, when the passive government came, what they find out? Wheelbarrows, they will cost wheelbarrows for probably $1,000 because of nobody would audit it. Nobody would, they would just go and do it. They find out the trolleys they use at the airports was costed. They ordered all this and they invoiced all this and got paid and not even delivered because of this secrecy or because of this autonomy they've been given. Barrow is creating the same thing. He's creating the corruption. He's expanding the corruption in other. You know, Jammeh was creating fear within government. He's creating corruption more within government so that he too can dip in more. This is system. Now, the institution involved, Interior. Just imagine Interior. We all know, we've seen the police with all they need. You think things gonna get better? It's gonna get worse. There's a reason that procurements are controlled. That's where corruption happens. Buying vehicles, buying this, buying that, kickbacks, invoice inflation. The other thing is, because of the reason they would use to go to GPPA is for the amount of money. Now they're saying that if those big procurements, now you don't have to go to GPPA. Certain this thing you have to go to GPPA, and they make sure that you've done your due diligence properly. You have the bids have been open for multiple to see that government will be safe in and protected from corruption. Now they continue to say, Interior, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. You know, this one is to deal with Gamtel and other things. It's all part of the digital economy, and which is now technically under how to call it, Dr. Sisi. And Dr. Sisi have already pulled a fast one. They're rebranding the ministry. And do you know the cost of rebranding that ministry? Go and find out who are the people having the contracts to rebrand the Ministry of Information. Go and look at it. The logistics that they need to rebrand, they need to change and everything. Go and find out who have the contract. You know why they're supporting Barrow, or they want Barrow to stay. The economic ministry, the ombudsman. Now, the ombudsman, I don't think they use that much money, but again, the ombudsman, why? And the ombudsman, now, if you allow the ombudsman to open up the ombudsman to be corrupt, remember what they did to the IEC, and I'll come to the IEC. If you open up the ombudsman to be corrupt, now you can have undue pressure on the ombudsman. You can undue influence the ombudsman because you created the environment for them to be corrupt. Now you can decide on cases that you want to be decided on. The ombudsman. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. Imagine, that place is already rotten. The road contracts, bridge contracts, procurement for many other things they would need. Transport procurement, many kind of procurement they have to do. They are exempted. Again, the other thing too is, I'll tell you this, it's a fact. It's not I think or else, it's a fact. Barrow do negotiate kickbacks, directly. There's this case of fertilizer. The fertilizer with Ababakar Jawara and other people sitting. The guy was surprised that Barrow asked for, I forgot the figure. Now, because of the amount that Barrow was, they said to Barrow, if that is the case, but we have to put up the volume, what you asked for. That was the year they had, I covered it before, they had to, order for 2 years. It was before the COVID. It was a good thing that we had the supplies 2 years and delivered before COVID, but it was not that it was strategically thought about. No, it was because of the amount of kickback that they need to do for Barrow. Barrow negotiated that kickback. A senior politician, I'm not going to name the name here, during the impasse, Barrow took bribe. And that senior politician turned around to someone and said to him, we are in deep trouble. And that person said what? He said for president to take money in suitcase, he should be taken in wallets, in briefcase, in a listing. No, so for president to take bribe in envelopes, that's a problem. He should at least take a briefcase. Just to tell you the mindset of this Barrow. Now, you think that if he creates all this opportunity to, it's for him to access more money. Corruption. All these kickbacks, just as the Hadim guys and others, he negotiates his kickback. Again, the other ministry is Ministry for Gender, Children, Social Welfare, the Procurement Regulatory Authority, the Central Bank of the Gambia. The Central Bank of the Gambia, imagine. Gambia, the Independent Electoral Commission, and the Gambia Tourism Hospitality Institution. Imagine the IEC now, the IEC he's trying to investigate and deal with, now he's going to exempt them. You see what I was telling you guys? He have dealt with these people, he's going to get them out. Now he's going to bring in new ones and create that environment again so that he can dictate the elections, how to going to be stolen. And again, as I said, if you want to understand Barrow, understand Macky Sall. It's exactly what Macky Sall was doing. All the returning officers were given cash as expense, millions. And guess what? Macky Sall would decide that what vote he wants in any constituency, they'll give it to him. Any vote he wants, any constituency, they give it to him. This time round, the reason Pastef won, I can tell you, it's not only that Pastef have mechanisms in or anything, but because of Pastef have the soft power. And Macky Sall now is scared that, look, and the Americans were involved. I'll tell you. Again, this is when we talk about Gambia to build up a soft power, when the politicians come together, civil society come together, what you have is an international recognition. The international is forced to oversee and to caution the government. That's how we can maintain peace. I can tell you, if the Americans were not involved on the side of positive to make sure they are treated right, Usman Sonko is not going to leave prison. Positive will not have won elections. But they did the right thing. They developed themselves and got the soft power, got the people around, and then the international, and America for that matter, saw the strategic interest to make sure they have, influence Macky Sall. These are the institutions. Supported to do this. Now, again, look at the situation we have at the Independence Stadium. I'm just going to point to these things. What can this government do right? Tell me a project designed by this government and fulfilled. Don't tell me the roads and bridge built by the Chinese. The Chinese did everything. Don't tell me the conference center. Even the conference center, they could not have it right. After the Chinese finished the conference center, there was no fence. Go and look at the corruption surrounding that fence, and look at the inferior fence. For a building like that, the fence should have been imposed. Go look at the fence and how they charge us for the fence. And the rest of the land, they cut it off and sold it to another company. Now, imagine this Independence Stadium. Do you know why the problem is? Again, it's just like this. It was not openly bid. A friend of Barrow, one of the Jigos, the two of them, Amadou and Seftijan, one of them got the contract. And just like that. Now, how many millions just down the drain? And Gambians want to say, oh, you should not. It's not celebrating. We are not celebrating it. We are not celebrating. You want us to be quiet? You want us to blame CAF? That's the hypocrisy. Now, if we cannot see everything, and today, this afternoon, I learned that the journalists were invited to State House. Again, it's the same thing I'm saying. And for people who did not see the problem with that, it's just an intimidation. Barrow knew that he never had a case. Because Barrow said it in front of the Banyan Council of Elders on TV that man legi tay ma dem li ñoo xëccoo fi legi tay ma dem, and continue to say that dama bay suma baye dama am suma retirement home sa ñu ko ñoo sampa. Did we not see the retirement home in sampa? Dama bëgg def social mu ne dama bëgg def dama am retire dama dem def social. That's what he said. From there on, didn't we not see an urgent ex-president bill? Amendment. We had an ex-president bill or legislation in. He went and did an urgent. Why urgent? Why urgent? And in that bill, everything points to Barrow. Even to the point that we have either, if he lives in his own property, because he's greedy, he have to build a property and own it, that will pay him. Pay for him living there, or the government will provide a property. The government will provide an office. The government will provide this. The government will pay him this. Government will pay him that. That everything was written. If he was not ready to go, why he's saying that? Why he's saying that? And what's the problem about saying a government that was meant to be for 3 years, or whatever it is? I mean, we passed that, and someone who said, and he said it. He had some elders came in. He said he will make sure this constitution. This was before the 3 years. Or people want me to live before 3 years, and I want to make sure that I develop a constitution that no one will stay more than 2 terms. He said that. And you, a journalist, been manipulated, because that's how I said that Sidi Njai is evil. He must have manipulated the journalists to report this, because of he was against Mohammed Jah, and turn around to say this. That's why he created this outreach. That's why he created that outreach. Sidi Njai manipulated these journalists. He spoke to the journalists. Now the trial is discontinued because Sidi Njai have created the Yaya Jammeh mechanisms to go to these things. And to go even for forgiveness, there's nothing to be forgiven. It's an abuse of authority. The president is abusing this power. This is an intimidation. They should not have been charged by the police, and he should not have, taken them to court. I am not going to blame the journalists, the victims if they compromise. That's them. But I hold the Barrow and the system responsible for, because I don't know the condition there. It's costly to go to court, and the pressure around them and everything. I am not in their shoe. I am not going to blame them for decisions they will take. But what a state does, we have to hold them accountable. Guys, it's longer than I planned, but yeah, probably we will come now and then, but I'm planning a holiday. I might not be available online for a while. But probably a week or so I'll still be around, and we'll meet up and catch up with stuff before I start my holiday. Thank you guys, and have a good day.